Hello there, Kenny Zook here, head preacher for the Church of Leave OPP. The studio's still under construction. We're still working out of the living room. And we're going to do our football wrap-up early this week. Last week, we managed to rise from horrid pits of despair at 6-9 to 9-6. At least we're on the less smelly side of 500. That's kind of nice. The predictions made by the football software mostly meshed pretty nicely with some of mine. I did make the mistake of betting on one only because the software recommended it, and that was the Chiefs. Took a couple of stings on some parlays as a result of that. I'm just about ready to swear off the whole parlay thing in favor of just betting individually against the spread. Meanwhile, I did clear like $53.75 off of a $30 investment. I believe I said somewhere along the line 25, but actually did pop in an extra $5 bet, which paid. Meanwhile, however, Alice Easy Button went into things the Christian way with absolutely no expectations, just purely for the interest of good, clean fun. And Alice, on a teaser parlay, had the Panthers plus 3.5 points. They won outright. The Bengals plus 17.5. They won outright. The Seahawks plus 5.5. They won outright. The Texans plus 11.5. They won outright. The Saints plus 6.5. They won outright. And the Dolphins plus 9.5. Oh, they just barely covered that 1-point spread. Actually, that list would have won on a straight-up parlay, a half-point parlay, and she'd have made 5 times as much as she did, but still, she turned $35 off of a $5 lark over our traditional fruit salad. Putting me to shame, so we're going to give you Alice's picks this week, too. She's being a little bit more bold. And I think that moves us on to this week. Straight up this week on the contest card, I have, just in case lightning strikes, taking the Cardinals to beat the Giants. That's actually not the result I'm hoping for. I'd love to see the Giants put things together and take that division because there's been a lot of weaknesses shown around them. I have the Colts over the Texans. That's halfway heart pick, halfway could happen. Come on. I have the Bills over the Dolphins, since I don't have any points or anything. Straight up, I think that's probably a good call. Now the Lions over the Vikings. That's not a hard call. I never did like the Lions, and I used to kind of like the Vikings, except Randy Moss is right. They're idiots. I had the Packers over the Raiders, and if they let me down like Fangio did on Thursday night, I will just assume that the Broncos and the Packers have it out for me personally, and I will bet for them for the remainder of the season. So backers of those teams better hope that doesn't happen, because they will lose out the season if I bet on them every week. I can and I will. I have Green Bay and Oakland game going under 45 points. That one I'll forgive them if they mess me up on. It could at least be entertaining to watch. I have the Jaguars over the Bengals on the road. I have the Rams going on the road and beating the Falcons. Who'd have thought that could happen? I have the 49ers beating the Redskins. Who'd have thought that could happen? Those are my upset picks for the week. I have the Titans over the Chargers because I don't know who any of those guys are. Are they even in the NFL this year? I don't know. I have the Seahawks over the Ravens. That's a really, man, I can't wait to see how that contest comes out and see at least some of that game. This may catch fire. I have the Saints over the Bears. I have the Eagles over the Cowboys. I have that game going over 46.5. That was the other over they made us pick to make up for the teams on bye weeks. And oddly enough, I have the Patriots over the Jets. The Jets might be interesting with sufficient points. Not so sure I'm liking them straight up. Although, put me down for it, it could happen. And that takes me to gambling. I also gambled on the Saints. I did put a $5 bet on that. Immediately upon the conclusion of last week, I said, you know what? The Bears are no way going to handle these Saints. And I put $5 on them. And then I went back, and as I said earlier, I have decided that overall I would be well ahead of where I am right now, with the exception of that first week where I did hit a pretty good-sized parlay. I'm thinking I might be better off if I just take all my bets, bet them against the spread, pick all the stuff that I really like. And I did discover on the betting app that I use that once you pick a bunch of bets, it always automatically offers a parlay entry, and you say how much you want to spend making a parlay out of what you just picked, and they tell you what it would pay out for that many. I did all 10 of these bets at $2 a piece, and when I bet $2 on a 10-leg parlay, it told me it will pay $1,449. That's probably not happening, just guessing. But for $2, what's the difference between that and a lottery ticket? So, teams that I have bet on against the spread this week conveniently have 10, so we will be able to easily figure out what my percentage is next week when we do this. I have the Texans-Colts game going under 47. I thought that seemed safe. Who knows, Watson could mess with me. I have the Dolphins and Bills game going under 41. I feel pretty strong about that. I've got the Jaguars given 4 points at the Bengals. I think that's not nearly enough points. I got the Rams given 3 points at the Falcons. That's not nearly enough points. I took the money line on the Eagles at the Cowboys because that'll pay a little better than what the points bets pay because they're not favored. I took the Ravens plus 3 points at the Seahawks rather than the money line. I took the Vikes given a 1.5 against the Lions. I took the Ravens Seahawks game to go over 49. I hope that's true. It'll be more fun to watch. I have the Niners having no problem giving 9.5 points to the Skins. And I have that game going over because I believe that Jimmy Garoppolo is going to get on the field and go, look, why no offense? And light things up out there. And as I said, I put all that on the 10-leg parlay. Now, it's easy button using the far more scientific methodology of intuition. Has a straight up parlay, a regular half-point parlay, with the Niners given 9.5, the Fish getting 16.5. Interesting play because the Fish have been covering a fair number this year, despite the fact that they're winless. The Bengals, she's got plus 3.5, bold play, and she's got the Saints plus 3.5, which of course I agree with wholeheartedly. And then on a teaser parlay, she's got the Cards plus 8.5, seems pretty realistic. The Colts plus 5.5, I still say they could win that game. The Bills given 11.5. She's got more confidence in my Bills than I do. The Bills are one of my second-tier teams threatening to take over if Mitch Trubisky doesn't get his act together. He better make me wrong on those New Orleans games. But if he doesn't, I got a consolation prize, so what the heck. She's also got the, sorry, these are Alice's picks. I had a little vendetta going there. She's got the Bengals plus 9.5, and she's got the Skins plus 16.5. I'm afraid that one might be her undoing because I see them losing by more than that. So we shall see how that goes. Wow, this is a long video. But we'll speed it up some. I think that's everything. Oh, there's a bunch that I get to edit out too.
Right.
Yeah. You heard it here. God's best and brightest blessings to you and yours. Is there another line to that tag? I don't know. I don't think there's been.
No,
It always feels like there may be an additional tag coming soon to a. I'll just stop now, okay?